Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day. Today's book is Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Vorst, illustrated by Ray Cruz. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair, and when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be carsick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that the Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Mayo was his next best friend, and that I was his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. Oh, this book. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to get to the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy, and then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby, and while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I told everybody. No one answered. So, then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripe. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, "We're all out. We're sold out." They made me buy old white ones, plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at the office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could be except my elbow. He also said don't fool around with the phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a very terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner. I hate limas. There was kissing on the TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, but I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. The end of Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Boys and girls, I chose this book. No, I did not choose this book. I'm so used to saying that. This book was chosen by one of my daughter's classmates from the class of 2020. It is one of their favorite books that they like to read or like to have read to them when they were little, and they chose it as one of the groups that they gave me. So I've been dedicating once a week a book from the class of 2020 because, as you know, they didn't have a very good year. Most of their year was spent inside club quarantine at home. So that's why I had them choose this book. I like this book because every time I've read this book, I don't know what it is, but I just want to laugh the whole time. Even though it's supposed to be terrible and bad and horrible and all that, I could barely keep it together to get through the story. I just want to laugh. That's just my personality. I know what it is to have a terrible, horrible, very bad day, but I know that it gets better. I know it's only one day. I know it doesn't last forever, and it always makes me laugh whenever I read this book. I guess I'm what you call an optimist. I always find the best in everything. Like the glass is always half full, that kind of thing. You'll hear your parents say these kinds of things. Like, I always believe that it's going to turn out okay and this day will pass and all of those things. I've always been this way since I was little. Like, I always find the good in the bad. Like, I know that with quarantine and with COVID-19, we've been stuck in the house, but how else do I get to read to you on YouTube every single day, twice a day? I didn't do this before COVID-19. I started this to keep in touch with my kids because I miss them so much. So I believe good thing comes from every bad thing. And the good thing that came from COVID was that I started an Instagram, Bored with Miss Reynolds, and I started reading my books online to you on YouTube like I'm doing now. And I'm kind of, I would say, living my dream, getting you guys bored, better off reading every day with Miss Reynolds. So that's what I'm saying. Even if it seems terrible over here, it's also good over here. And it's going to get better. It definitely is. That's why this book's always, it makes me feel so silly. So, here is my advice to you. Have a great day, no matter what. No matter what. Always try to have a good day. Always try to find a good in the day. I always loved when my daughter was little and she would be like, don't tickle me, don't tickle me. But then she would hold out herself for me to tickle her. Or, don't kiss me, don't kiss me. And then she would put her cheek or she would pucker up for me to kiss her. And silly things like that where it's like, don't make me have fun. Please don't make me have a good time. The last thing I want to do is have a good time. I like having a bad day. Leave me alone and let me have my bad day. Boys and girls, just remember, I love this. It comes from a place where I always shop. It says, good things inside. This is one of their bags that I kept and cut it off. And just like with every day, there's always going to be bad things and there's always going to be good things. Good things inside. So find the good things inside here and make it happen. And get over this bad day that you think you might be having. Because every day I'm going to be in your face getting you bored with Miss Reynolds. Better off reading every day. And I'll see you soon. Bye. That wasn't so bad after all.